So you start playing arcraiders and you don't know what to do at the start of the game. I'm gonna break down for you what you should focus on and prioritize in the first roughly like about 20 levels of the game. I've played two beta tests in this game. I have roughly 74 hours. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do and what should you do and prioritize to get the best possible start in this game. So the first thing that you should focus on are tasks in the start, because this game was designed at the start from the beginning to be a single player. So in a single player, you learn how the game works and how to play the game by doing simple tasks, okay? Because the tasks and the mission system is teaching you the basic of the game that are the most important stuff. You cannot ignore the tasks of the game. That's the main thing that you should do, because they give you so much like XP, so much knowledge of the map that you need to have, and a lot of useful items as soon as you complete the mission. One of the biggest parts of this game is crafting, and workbenches are like the most important thing to like upgrade at the start as soon as you have resources to do so. Don't ignore stations. Don't ignore all those workbenches that you can install and you can craft everything that you need. You will need crafting for everything, for weapons, for ammunition, for medical stuff, for everything. So don't ignore workbenches. As soon as you finishing a task, okay, just go there and watch on how could you install a new station and how can you level up the station. Just on the second level of the one of the stations, as I remember, there's a key that you can extract with that key, opening a tunnel and extracting without calling an extraction and making any noise. I will leave you some links in the description of some very useful like sites and platforms that you can watch and be prepared on what items you need to install or upgrade a bench or a station. Okay, so you can see, like, you can open here and you will already see what items and materials do you need to like upgrade your station. And as soon as you upgrade the station, you will have like more items to craft, more rare items to craft, and they are mostly very important for every raid that you're playing on this game. So the first money that you spend should be always to expand your stash, because you're gonna loot a lot of stuff that you will need. And this game is mainly created, as I said before, for a single player at the start. So the crafting is very important, because all the fun in the game was about crafting and killing the arcs. So mostly you need 90% of the stuff that you loot at the start. And your stash will be full like from 3 or 4 successful extractions at the start. So as soon as you have the money, you should expand your stash. So those are the costs of the upgrade of the stash. I think you can reach like 200 slots. If you bought deluxe edition, you will have raider tokens. If you don't want to buy the skins, just keep those tokens to upgrade your stash in the future. Okay, let's talk about skill tree. I would say that 80 to 90% of all the skills that we will have in the game are actually useful. The important part is what to focus on at the start. I would recommend you to level up all these 3, okay, that they will give you a small boost at the start on all 3 categories. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna focus on mobility to have like increase your max stamina to here. Okay, so we're leveling this one and then we go here and just keep increasing your stamina like on 3. Maybe we go on the left side on conditioning, and our main aim is like level it up till this one, loaded arms. Your equipped weapon has less impact on your encumbrance. Okay, so we're doing this one. You make less noise when breaching. Then breaching doors and containers takes less time. That's very important when you push a team or a player and maybe he blocks the door. So it takes such a long time that he could heal himself. He could take an angle on you. So to be fast breaching doors and containers. That's the main advantage in this game. We're gonna go this, so we need to level all this stuff, but I would recommend you to get to the a little extra, that is breaching an object generates resources, and this one, because in every other raid you will have always 2 weapons in your hand and you will be always heavy. You have a good mobility, but as soon as you loot stuff from like mid game to late game to extract, you will be very slow, and the guy who's gonna have a better mobility gonna win the fights in the late game. When the timer is low and you need to run, maybe you spot like an enemy that blocks you and you need to run to the other side, the other extraction, maybe to the like last extraction, and if you're gonna be heavy, you're finished. If you have this skill, you can craft during the game. You can craft bandages, you can craft shield repairs, you can craft like small nades, unlocks additional items to field craft. This is gonna be very useful in the late game. I don't know what items are gonna be for like additional items to field craft. For sure that's gonna be maybe some smoke to craft that will help you to like run to the extraction and extract. Maybe a zipline to reposition yourself. Maybe you don't have it, but you have like some small stuff that you can craft. That's so easy. I've tried in the last beta to like focus on the craft in the game, and I've like crafted in one game like 6 or 8 bandages and 6 shield recharges just by playing and going around. And that's the main stuff to heal yourself. You cannot play without like healing yourself and healing your shield, you know. So that was the main stuff, and it helped me a lot. And I think that's gonna be very important to manage to craft stuff while playing. Additional info that I will give you: you should focus on maxing this one. Moving around costs less stamina at the start and increases your stamina. You will be very fast at the start of the game. Focus on those things that would help you at the first 20 to 30 levels of the game, because if you're gonna be faster, you will have more advantages. So let's talk about the map at the start. We're gonna play this dam map. I'm not gonna cover everything like I love to do in every other game. Like I love to do like tactical maps and all the routes that you should do while playing, but I'm gonna cover like a starting points, okay, on what you should focus on, because we have all those spawns you see, and I will leave you the link in the description of this map. Okay, we can put like an arc rocketeer, that we need to ignore the rocketeer. Okay, so we're not gonna go on the spots that are rocketeer in at the start, because there's a lot of players around him spawning, and there's like very hard to control those areas. I'm gonna give you some advices on how to move on the map. Okay, so there are 3 things to do from this side of the map with those spawns. You see, there are 3 things. One is to try and close some spawns of other players. Okay, so you engage right away because you know the spawns. Okay, so maybe you spawn here, you go on the right, you close this guy, maybe you see this guy. Okay, so that's the first part, the most risky one. The second one is just going to the into the woods. That's the mostly very risky part, or playing on this side, because you're gonna get maybe sandwiched with more players, okay, or more teams. So I would say that you should ignore this part of the map. It's very risky, and under the rocketeer that can like spot you, kill you, and sometimes they're spawning a little turret on this tower that sees all this area, like all big area. So ignore this one, just move to the left side. Maybe from this you move to the left side, and then to the left side you go here, you go on this mountain, and then you can decide from this mountain where to go. You go to the tower, you go to do like some missions, or you go on electrical substation, all that stuff. Okay, I do not recommend you to loot this house here, because it's very risky. You will have like, imagine spawning on this side, you go for this house, you start looting inside, you're making a lot of noise, maybe this guy comes out, you know, to you, this guy is here, like you start shooting, everyone hears you, and you're like in the middle of 3 or 4 enemies without even knowing it. So if you wanna loot it, at least make sure you're alone, or make sure maybe you have a friend that could sit on the tower. There's stairs outside that he can control the extract from the roof. Maybe you can use a zip line to go to activate extraction and then go back, wait for the extraction, and then you zip to the extraction. That would be an insane strategy, actually. A very safe strategy. You loot together this side, you put a zip line, you extract, and you're all good, bro. Like safely extract, safely looted. So another thing to do is to focus on the tower. So if you wanna go on the tower, you can go from this side, maybe like this. You go underground and the tower, like the zip line. So you wanna go the tower from this, you maybe go under here, watch the rocketeer carefully, but don't lose a lot of time. So what are we doing on the west side with those spawns here? What are we doing? I would recommend you to ignore this part of the map because it's so complex. There's a lot of players going, like these spawns are going always on that side. There's 3 more spawns on this side, and there's a rocketeer that's the pain in the ass, okay? So try to ignore this side. So if we talk about west side, I would recommend you to loot those buildings, those 2 buildings here, and do not go to the pattern house. Do not go to the power generation complex. There's a sniper turret, there's a lot of arcs here, there's a rocketeer here, there's a lot of arcs around here, so do not go in the open in the woods here. It's very hard to control at the low levels, you know, when you don't have enough armor, when you don't have enough like power from your weapons to kill the arcs easily, you know, when you don't have like nades, all that stuff. Ignore the open part of the map. Ignore this part because it's very campy actually, but it's full of arcs. And ignore of this part because you're running openly in front of a lot of spawns at the start. So if you spawn on the left side, try to loot those buildings and then maybe you rotate to the left. The easiest like place to loot, as I saw on this map, is actually water treatment because everyone is ignoring this. But you can go inside, you can loot a lot, and there's a tunnel. You can move through the tunnel through here, and you can move like inside and play like inside, you know. You can loot inside, you can move from inside, you go outside here. Maybe you decide to extract. Maybe here you decide to go to the control tower. So you're not actually playing outside under the rocketeer and under the spider arc, you know. You're actually playing inside. You're hearing steps in a better way. It's easy to move around the map from those undergrounds. And it's easy to decide where to fight, where not to fight, okay? The extraction points are very good. Why? Because it's fun. Because they are risky. Actually, this extraction is so risky because of the rocketeer, you know. This extraction is like mostly very risky because there's a rocketeer nearby and there's a spider one nearby and there's a lot of players that are slow. They are slowly moving from their spawns, you know. Maybe they heard some shots and they're moving to this side, everyone moving to this side like this, and this place is like full of players. A lot of times the easiest way to have more info about players is this area here because you can see all the map. Like actually you can see all the map here, all the map here, and you can hear people behind you on the control tower. So this is the easiest way to have info about the enemy till like this side for sure. This is my favorite spot to have info and decide what to do. And if you have a zipline, you can go from here like straight to the hydronic dome complex if you see like fights there. It depends on what do you need in the game to do. Okay, so this is like a small part that I would say about this map and how you should move. But the most important thing, to extract safely, you need the key hatch. Okay, so focus on the key hatch. We have a key hatches here. So the most broken part of this game about the key hatches, about the hatches, because you can extract at the very last minute of the game. To get the maximum loot in a match, you should focus not only on the players, but on supply call stations that you can call a supply. You will see a parachute with a supply in it, a lot of stuff, a lot of items there. You should focus on raider camp and fill the pot. Fill the pot, you will have a quest that you will move like boxes to have the loot in return, to have a lot of items. So use this map, interactive map, and memorize the supply call stations. You will see the mini towers, the raider camp, and the fill the pot. You should always try to focus on looting them. Prioritize those loot and you will have the rarest loot in the game, in this mod, in this map. Okay, let's talk about your initial loadout. I will give you 3 loadouts, but I'm planning to make more videos about loadouts to have a better like start of the game or just to have a better PvPs. Let's talk about this loadout. Very simple. If you wanna like go more cheap, just keep with one weapon, but I will recommend you this at the start. Try to have a stitcher, like an SMG, full automatic SMG, and the ferro, because ferro is very good with heavy ammo against arcs. That's the main reason why should you have ferro, okay, for the arcs, and of course for PvPs, because it's doing a lot of damage. It's 40 damage. Try to have something for close range fights. It gives you a big advantage. At least one bandage, okay, at least one. Shield recharger and a little smoke. You can craft it and you can like easily find a little smoke. So that's the easiest and the cheapest that you should have if you go for PvPs and if you go like for a long match. Okay, you want to fight like 2 or 3 players, you want to fight like 2 or 3 teams if you're playing in a team and everyone has that loadout, and if you want to get lucky and kill some geared guy and just extract. The second loadout that I love, it's Il Toro for a close range, a shotgun. So you need a shotgun ammo, like 40 shotgun ammo, and an anvil. I love anvil. This like single action hand cannon, it's like very good against arcs and very good to be like, if you're precise enough, you're gonna give like insane headshots with this gun. And of course, it's a heavy ammo, so it's very high damage. Upgrade your bandage. So you need at least the green one so you can heal faster. Put like more shield chargers, like 3 or 4 into your loadout. Don't forget about the smoke. Get a small bandage for like maybe you finish the fight and you know that there's no one near you. Just use normal bandages so you don't waste the herbal bandage one. And of course you need a nade. You need to start having grenades, more smokes and more grenades, because you're becoming richer and more experienced in PvP, so you need more advantage, okay? And now you need to start to have always in a safe pocket a raider hatch key, because sometimes you're gonna have like rough fights, sometimes you won't be able to extract because maybe you start a fight near the extraction and the guy just dealt a lot of damage, so you just run away, you have the hatch key, you run with your loot and you're safe to go. So the third loadout is more advanced. Maybe you will have like a blue kit, you will have a blue shield, you know, the more advanced. Take the shotgun, it's very good. Maybe the SMG, it doesn't matter. You need something for very close range, because the slide system and the like roll system is good for fights. And at the start, maybe if your mobility is good, you can fight better, because every other guy is like a greedy and playing only with one gun, and mostly that one gun is like long range. And if you have a close range weapon, SMG or a shotgun, you're winning more engagement. So the gun that I love is Renegade. It's insanely good against players. Medium ammo for that weapon. You need herbal bandage, a rare bandage, because you will fight more. You will have like more experienced or geared players against you, so we'll need a faster heal. Put like minimum 5 shield chargers. Don't forget about the smokes. The more are better. Maybe 2 little smokes or 1 little smoke, 1 medium smoke. And then you need to start to put something for your mobility, some items for your mobility. For example, a zipline. So use the zipline to reposition yourself. Or maybe you put a shield, close yourself with the shield, and maybe heal your teammate, rest your teammate, or just go away with the smokes and the shield. Don't forget about the grenades, because we're playing a third-person shooter, and every other guy will be just waiting for you behind the corner. So the only way to make damage on him or just make him move is just throwing a nade, throwing a Molotov or something on a smoke in his face, and you just push in, because without any grenade, without any smoke, you won't be able to do anything against a guy just camping around the corner, okay? Don't forget about the raider hatch key. Always in your safe pocket at the start. And if you find something more rare that you need to save, just move your raider hatch key on your backpack and put that stuff on your safe pocket. So that should be your main focus at the start, the first 20 levels of the game. Subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna go through all of them, like more details in the next videos. I have a long, big list of tips and tricks that I would teach you, I will give you for other maps. Maybe I can create a tactical map for you so you know exactly how to better move on the map, just to be a better player, to have more fun, so you don't die like a bot at the start, of course. But now you need to tell me in the comments, what are you interested more about? Like, you want to know about more tips and tricks, more about loadouts, more about like how to do faster the tasks, or more about how to move better on the map, or more about how to PvP better? You tell me in the comments and I will give you info for you. Thank you for watching.